Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey. Uh, I need to stream, puppy. I can't play right now. Indeed, and greetings upon you, beloved friends. Beloved and holy friends. Excuse me. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me, Shannon. Like I think that's why I wanted to go straight into a indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy Shannon. And I was like, might be a little bit unrelatable. Maybe all of the Shannons in the world will instantly be manifested into the space. But we have the Shannon, the one and only. Thank you for joining us, my beloved friend. It's so nice to have you here again. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling into this time. Hey, Taha, good day to you, friend. Thank you for joining me. It's nice to have you here in the space. Time and this feeling, I wouldn't even call it an idea, this feeling of being late. Today's title on the Reddit is Scared of Being Late? What if time is but our aging fate? Hmm? What if there is no such thing as time, but we become convinced of time because we age? Because our cells continue aging, we become convinced of time. And if we figure out how to stop that, how to stop aging, will time disappear with it? Or will we then start to age ourselves along the stars? Oh, yeah, you know, I'm as old as, five fully burned stars, just a few billion years. I don't know, but it's something that I definitely want to discuss a little bit today. Just to think about it, like I got to have a cool chat with Ryan during our yoga session this morning, your morning technically, and he has to have a conversation about the birds, the bees, and the sweet sweet honey that is oozing into our world. I don't know, like substances, basically substances. He's gonna have that conversation with a 11-year-old son of his, and like he shared some information with me, which I wish I had yesterday, where he said that we now have scientific evidence that by the time you turn about 12 to 13, you no longer receive as many neurochemicals when listening to the voices of your parents. So on a very visceral and real level, listening to your parents suddenly become boring. It suddenly becomes something that you don't actually want to do. And that was fascinating to me. Like I kind of, when I was meditating today, I sat with this feeling of time. I sat with this feeling of being late. I've had a little bit of anxiety building up inside of me as of late when I think about all of the things that I need to do and all of my time that is going to be spent in doing different things. And I have this difficult, experience of, oh, I should be doing so and so, and I should be this productive, and I have all of these things to do, and I should be giving my time in this direction, in that direction. And it's from this place of feeling like I won't get to do it, or I won't have enough time to do it, or I'll miss something in not doing it. And in that moment while I was meditating, I just sat with that feeling and I realized that I'm not going to miss anything. You cannot miss anything because you're going to be in this state of awareness. And this moment, this state of awareness, you can argue is the only thing that there ever has been. That time does not exist, but in fact that all of time, all of the past, all of the future is residing in this moment. And realizing that and almost like accepting it as a truth into yourself, I believe it can give you a little bit more calm with how we pressure ourselves to do certain things. And then, like living into this moment of timelessness, of the infinity, if you will, I get to share a conversation with a friend that instantly pulls the rug. It's like, oh yeah, you think you know something, huh? So whoop, shwoo, gets wrecked, falls on my ass. Oh, I don't know anything. In fact, thank you, universe. So like thinking about time in the context of children. Oh goodness, I guess maybe that's why I was naive enough to believe that I found a nugget of wisdom. Because as soon as you get kids, I feel time instantly changes. You know, like now suddenly every single moment is significantly more important. Like especially the first years of a child's life, for example, you know, their formative years, something that we've all been through and something that was of the utmost importance during that time of our development, and how our parents spent time with us, the environments we found ourselves in, the things we saw and the things we heard, is now intrinsically a part of us, like down to a genetic level. And thinking about time in that context, thinking about if, for instance, I have a kid, you know, one day, and then I have this kid, and during the first 5 years of his life, I have to keep traveling, and I have to keep being somewhere else, and I have to go and do this thing there, and I have to go and do that thing here, and I come back to my home after my child has aged. Even though time isn't real, for him, that is time lost. That is time not spent with his father. And goodness, I'm getting emotional just talking about it. How do we free ourselves from worrying that we'll miss things? Can we? Is it even possible? Or is missing things both inevitable and impossible at the same time? So, like, if it's impossible, stop worrying about it because it's not gonna happen. If it's inevitable, stop worrying about it because it is gonna happen. You know, and like being faced with these two realities, sitting with them and not knowing which side I should go to. And I experience it in my life as well at this moment where I realize that the time I have with my family is limited. I won't be able to stay in this space indefinitely. I don't even know if I'll be able to stay here for a few more years. I would love to be able to spend time with my family. That's the crazy thing about spending time with family as well. If you are in your 20s right now, you have spent most of the time with your family that you ever will. I'll say that again. If you are in your 20s right now, or older, you have spent most of the time that you ever will, like up to like 80 to 95% of the time you ever will with your family. And I know this and I understand this and I see it every single day, but if I'm trying to spend time with my family in the way that I feel is productive and progressive, in the way that I am going to, or both rather, going to gain something from the time spent, it's almost like there is a resistance to that, where it creates a sense of separation. And I got to have a conversation with my mom yesterday. I don't think I really spoke too much about it yesterday. Let me take a sip of water. Hermes Plur. But I had a little bit of a spat with my dad yesterday where, you know, he was he was gaslighting me. Yes, I have this word that means something. Where he was creating this narrative that I am the one that is at fault. You know, because I believe a certain set of things. Instead of believing his set of things, he hopes that God will forgive me one day, you know, and he says this to me. And I'm like, well, isn't that a judgment? If you hope that someone will forgive me? He's like, no. I'm like, but how can I be forgiven if I haven't been judged? And I'm like, doesn't the Bible say that judgment is in and of itself a sin? And just like creating this narrative, and nothing came of it, as there always doesn't. Like I'm trying to spend time with my dad. You know, I'm trying to spend a moment with him, spend this moment with him, and that is something that I was talking to him about as well. I mentioned that there is only this moment. You know, there is only this moment that we're in right now. This moment keeps shifting with us. We are the one that moves this moment from space to space, from experience to experience, from emotion to emotion. But this moment is the thing that remains. This awareness of this moment is the thing that remains. And I was trying to convey this understanding to my dad, and it creates a sense of dis-ease in him, and he doesn't want to hear it. And after trying to have this conversation, we're basically both just going, mute. Like we don't say anything to one another after that. And we go to our, own spaces. And my mom comes to me yesterday after the stream, after, I finished all of my busy work, if you will. And she comes and sits with me and she asks, "What did you and your dad fight about?" You know? And I was like, I don't think we really fought about anything. I was trying to, bring some more awareness into the current situation that we're in. I see my dad doing things over and over and over again because of unawareness. Like a super rough example, but just the one that happened, in the immediate memory that I can pull up yesterday, where my family was eating something and there was like a bowl of chicken and mayonnaise that my dad, mixed up. And my brother stands like here, and my dad is like directly next to him, and he asks him, "Can I use some of this, Papa? Kan ek van hierdie gebruik?" And my dad is so entrenched in what he's doing that he doesn't have the ability to hear. Like my brother is like this far away from his face, but he cannot hear him. And I see this, and I see it happening with my mom, and I see it happening with my sister, and it happens with me, where he'll hear you, but he just will not register. He won't realize that there's something to be aware of. And I, you know, transmitted that understanding to my mom, and I shared with her this feeling I have of this feeling I have of I'm between a rock and a hard place, because if I share the stuff that I feel is my truth, then that creates a sense of separation between the family. And if I don't share anything, then I separate myself from the family. And alongside this realization that I only have a certain amount of time that I get to actually spend with them, and feeling like, one, they don't realize that there is a limited amount of time, or there isn't a sense of urgency. And I guess that doesn't have to be. That's what this whole stream is about. Maybe I'm supposed to school myself. It's a paradox. So many freaking paradoxes. Oh, maybe one day we'll understand infinity. Thank you for joining me, friends. Oh, I think I missed a bunch of the YouTube friends. Did you say burps? Hey, Shannon Nana, love you. Thank you for joining us. So much love to you as well, Jovan. I'm trying. Yes, you are, Shannon, and that's the only thing we can try. We can try to try, and as we keep trying, then we'll probably succeed eventually. I see so much rushing around us, people trying to rush to work or the next place to get stuff done, rushing growth in relationships. We've got to slow down time by simply being where we are, realizing how much we can take from every given moment and take in what we can with appreciation of what we've got. I saw a book, and it instantly was like a holy text, Jovan. Feels like I just read from a holy text. Thank you for sending those words, my friend. I couldn't agree more. Right? We've always moved towards the next thing, not always knowing why. The reasons we do the things is not to achieve the accomplishments, but to fill time. Let's make sure every second is full. Hmm. Wow. That is a cool shift of perspective I just had. You know, hmm. Man, I like that. Yo, I don't know why I didn't. That's why we do this. Now suddenly this little fractal is okay. So what I think at least what Isaac is saying, so beautifully said, right, Javan? Like what Isaac is saying, instead of thinking of time and thinking of what we're doing with our time or how much time we have left as something that's running out, to try and make this time that we have more full. Instead of thinking of it as something that is a limited resource, to think of it as something that's a vessel. Mm, I really like that. Trying to make the time you do have fuller. And I feel I've been trying to do that. And I feel weirdly enough that meditation is something that is this weird contrast in me because I realize when I'm meditating that I'm sitting and doing nothing. And I'm like, you're sitting and doing nothing. And then my awareness is like, yes, that's what meditation is. SDR. Melt. It was like, oh, okay, fine. And then realizing that that is what it's about, that there is a fullness within the time spent, even if you're doing nothing, just by paying attention. Mm. Thank you, Isaac. Man, I feel like I'm little puzzle pieces are clipping in, kind of off topic and not able to put into practice right now, but I find falling snow as one of the best tools to understand our current perception of time and reality. Dude, never mind falling snow, forming snow. Like if your friends haven't watched it yet, I'd highly recommend it. It's a Vertasium video where he kind of goes into details of like snowflake formation. And there are a lot more snowflakes than the one you have in your head right now. You know, like, oh yes, the six geometry and the little. There are a lot more. Like a lot more. And all of them form in different in they form in time, but depending on the conditions, depending on the altitude, depending on the temperature, depending on the levels of humidity, depending on, the moisture content of the clouds, there is within the same time potentially, or let's just say the time it takes to form a snowflake, that time, that moment can have so many variables attached to it that there can be a completely different outcome. Still as full, still as beautiful on the other side, and yet completely different to what we might have thought it should be. And I'm trying to attach this snowflake understanding to a relationship or a job opportunity or a creative pursuit. Like, oh yes, this is what a snowflake is supposed to look like. But then we find ourselves in an environment, we find ourselves of conditions, we find ourselves of certain time constraints, and then the creative project that we're basically pursuing turns out maybe completely differently to what we initially envisioned it would be. And then we can feel like we've now wasted time, or we've lost time, or we shouldn't have spent time on doing this particular thing. But it's just as full. The moments you had is just as full. Now I'm like curious as well. All of the moments I was less aware, are they less full? Like I'm imagining every single moment I've been through in my life as like a little vessel. And the more aware I was, the more melting liquid I threw into it, right? And now I'm like watching all of the little vessels in my life kind of like stacked between one another moment by moment. And I'm like, yeah, those vessels don't look like they've been that topped up. Maybe I was like vegetating, completely ignoring my reality. Mm. Thank you so much, Isaac. I appreciate that, friend. Mm. If you are full of random thoughts and your mind is sped up, the snow seems to be an unyielding fog of particles that take a minute. Okay, when taking a minute to breathe, watching the snow, and paying attention, it slows. It can be a fantastic tool to remind ourselves that our thoughts heavily affect our perception of reality and time. When you approach something unprepared or stressed, time feels like it's chasing you. Time is not the path we walk, but the pail of water that we carry on the rain. The pail is never unable to be overflowing with life. It is up to us to journey forward slowly and purposefully. I couldn't agree more about the bear. So beautifully said as well. Unfortunately, I've never seen snow. So I can at parts imagine what it is you're talking about, like the defocused view of just like noise coming down. And then by breathing and kind of bringing into your moment your awareness of like what's happening in front of you, you can actually notice the individual little, flow snakes. Yes. Snowflakes falling to the ground. Thank you so much, Brother Bay. Thank you for joining us, Jumping Jumanji and Who Needs Tears. So much love to you. Promises. It's called Being a Teenager's True Friend. Thank you for joining us on B. I just read that article about that in this morning. Fascinating how brains change in response to the mother's voice. The synchronicity, Who Needs Tears. It's so crazy. It's super cool that you and Ryan were talking about that. We're the same person. We're the same person experiencing different perspectives. Like I keep finding information that reconfirms that fact. It's like this realization of our unity is happening through information exchange. And because we all have access to more information, that information is being exchanged faster than it ever has been. And then as that information gets exchanged, we learn things about ourselves and about our realities. And by learning things about ourselves and about our realities, we are in turn contributing to ourselves and to reality. Artist, craftier, hello to you. Thank you for joining us. Helio joining us as well. Natalie, ooh, I want to take those words and dissect them. But I want to hear everyone's take. Please, please do dissect the words, Natalie. I love mushrooms as well, mate. Your vices, interesting username, friend. I do love mushrooms, but I feel I've received what I needed to from them. You know, if I'm going to, like, at least for the next while, if I'm going to be taking any mushrooms, it's going to be microdoses. And then if I'm going to take a substantial dose, it's going to be maybe quarterly. Like, I'll take it max 4 times a year because it's not something that I feel is the point. You know, it's something as most that illuminates the point. It makes you realize just how beautiful normal sober, whatever that means, reality is. That this experience we're having right now is the actual trip. Experiencing time, experiencing aging, experiencing moment to moment experiences, that is the actual trip. Thank you, Vices, for joining us. Ugh. I'm never first to comment, even when bored. Stop at work, literally waiting for Mel to go live. Gob Nugget, dude, couldn't be fast enough. We have too many friends who wanted to share this space with us today. Thank you for finding yourself here as well. You don't need to be first because you are here now. You know, in the same way that the first comment was in this now, then you are here now in this moment with me. So thank you, God. Hey, desperate ad, it's been a while. Love to you, friend. We've missed you. Hope everyone's doing great. Thank you for joining us, friend. How are you doing? Lisa's here as well. Happy day, 488. Beautiful people. Things I'm grateful for. Things I'm grateful for. Another sunrise. A perfect, crazy family. And this day, 488, melting with you all. Each one of you. I saw an A and it had a circle around it. Oh goodness, is that the anarchy symbol? Wow! Thank you for joining us, Lisa. So much love to you. Hey, Toast Malost with the helpful. Thank you for joining us, Brother Bear. How are you doing, Carl? Impossibly inevitable. It's a trip. It's a trip, Gob, and I don't know how to mediate it. Like I actually don't know. Say yes to life that you are willing to let the fullness of it wash through you and carry you into an ever deepening understanding of all that you are. Am I getting goosebumps? Little bit. Come on, goosebumps. Go, go, go. Thank you. Say yes to life that you are willing to let the fullness of it wash through you and carry you into an ever deepening understanding, the understanding of all that God is, the universe is, source is, consciousness is, awareness is, this moment is. You cannot dispute it. Realizing that you are in the same way that this moment is. It's kind of trippy. You're freaking cool, yo. Thank you for joining me. Ermias Blur again. Lisa, you are awesome. Grateful you're here too. Thank you for sending that love, Brother Ryan. I love being gaslit. What? How dare I have feelings or opinions? How dare you, freaking gob? Like, I'm trying to gaslight you with your loving of being gaslit, but I don't know how. I actually don't know how to gaslight someone. You have to apparently convince them that they're crazy, right? Or you have to manipulate them, or you have to tell them things about their reality, questioning, making them question their reality. So, like, am I gonna, like, me trying to figure out how to gaslight? No. I'm not even gonna try and grow that fractal. I think we have to accept that we will miss things because time or moments are happening all the time, no matter where we are or what we're doing. That's it. That's it on the, that's the inevitability on the one side of the infinity. But the impossibility on the other side of the infinity is the fact that the person or the child or the parent or the relationship partner, etc., 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 is still the same I, the same moment. And within that moment, that person is experiencing it. So there is an impossibility for that experience to go unexperienced. But we might not, as an individual, get to experience that experience, and that is the inevitability. So it's this weird contrast, this weird balance that we have to try and find in our own lives, and it's more difficult than I know how to deal with right now. Thank you though, Auntie. My life. Sorry, friend. You're loved. You don't love being gaslit, dude. You never have. Shake my head. I'm pretty sure he's being sarcastic. Or maybe that is what gaslighting is. I think so, right? That is, yeah, thank you, Toast. You understood exactly what I was getting at, man. Tech sarcasm is hard sometimes. Gob, I think Toast was gaslighting you. So technically, you're the one who might have missed the sarcasm. There's layers of complexity. It was like, how are we gonna do this? Thank you so much, friends, for being so beautiful. Thank you. Namaste. You are equally as awesome. Lisa, seeing you in ourselves, seeing ourselves in you. So much love to you. Gaslighting is the ultimate sleight of hand. You are left confused and trying to figure out what was just experienced. You're right, Charles. And it's something that's so odd because my dad has these weird, examples. Like one of them is like this understanding that I've consolidated of realizing that you are the infinity. I am the infinity. This node, this crossing point at which all that has been, all that will be, you. Here you are, right? And then my dad is like, if I believe that I'm gonna start flying, I'm just not gonna start flying, am I? If they show me a movie where people fly and the FX, the visual effects is so great that I don't even get to, distinguish whether or not the person is actually flying, and I actually believe that about myself, and I keep saying it to myself, doesn't make it true. Like he comes up with stuff like that I'm like, no. I'm not saying these things because I was like hearing it and was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I guess I'm going to build my entire life around it. No. We have these moments, we have these personal, very, very, very personal experiences that cannot be taken away from us. And then they try. They try to gaslight us, pretend that we're the crazy ones for having experienced these things. Like there was something again, one more gaslighting, that was had. So one of the strong standing points I have, and this is by no means an encouragement, and I feel like it's kind of in contrast to what I said just a while ago about the mushrooms, but I've had close to 100 and something psychedelic experiences at this point. So with those psychedelic experiences comes a certain perspective, a perspective that my dad does not have. And he is unwilling to admit that I have perspective that he does not have. So my standpoint is not to be superior and to hold this perspective and like, I am so and so. You can't have this. No, I'm like, please, please, I'll give you this experience. I'll sit with you throughout this experience. All you have to do is do it, and within 6 hours, you'll have a perspective that you've never had in your entire existence. Imagine you're a 50-year-old man. You've lived your life. You've had kids. You've worked jobs. You've bought yourself a farm. You've afforded cars. Like you've lived all of these intrinsic. Oh yeah, this is what a successful life is supposed to be. And then you have a son that's willing to give you an experience that you've never had in your existence, and you're like, you know what? No. And then, like, I share this basic understanding of like the infinity and how you notice the infinity in an experience like that. And he's And I believe in God. I believe in God in every single one of us, in the trees, in the grass, in the water that I'm drinking, and I get to have a personal connection and relationship with that experience. And he asks me, "Oh, did you start having those experiences after you started taking psychedelics?" And I'm like, "I started having a lot more of them, absolutely." And he's like, "Yeah, Satan opened the door into your brain, and that is why you're having these experiences." And I'm like, "Okay, so your God created everything, and then with creating everything, created psychedelics, and then with the psychedelics, gave Satan the keys to the psychedelics so that Satan can open doors in my brain, so that Satan can communicate as God through me." And I'm like, how you read that? That is what gaslighting is. And I'm like, bruh, you do realize that we have evidence at this point that psychedelics help people with depression. It helped me out of my depression. It helps people with Alzheimer's, helping them, upregulate their brain-derived neurotrophic factor, growing new brain cells. It helps with dementia patients. Like, we don't even know how many benefits it will have, and we're only now restarting our research, our investigations. And it's that, where there's some people might not have even the inkling of perspective that is necessary to understand or to experience or to share a valid point, and then they gaslight you and tell you you're the crazy one because they don't understand. Woo! I love being gaslit. Love it. Wait a second. For the moment, we decide to run to beat time. We spill, allowing the nectar of life to escape our pails. I didn't know what the word pails means. The rain continues to fall. Pails, like pale to me means like, when your skin is light or whatever. We have only missed out on water. Thank you, Brother Bay, for sharing nonetheless, though. Aiden, thank you for joining us. Ex birthday boy. It's nice to have you here. Let us know, dude. Happy birth and a day. Happy birth and a day. I like that. Aiden, glad you're here, friend. It's so nice to have you here again. Tell us, dude. Okay, here we go. Your psychs can be so, yeah, psychs can be so useful. I always forget how refreshed I feel after trips. Feels kind of like a brain reset. It is your default mode network getting a little bit down regulated, and then it needs to get up regulated again. And it's literally like putting the computer on or putting the computer off and putting it back on again. Like that's always the analogy that I think of. And my dad has been running this current state of software for like so long that he's like, attached. No, please, please, I need to have this thing. Oh, nobody can take it away from me. And then I'm like, oh, no, no, she's gonna, okay, there we go. Look at that. You're still there. You're still alive. You're still experiencing. You're still in this moment. You're okay. Melt. Just melt. Yes, dude. You have more of an understanding and appreciation for everything around you. What a way to reorient the focus. And why would we be given these things? Like, why would they be illegal? Why would psychedelics be Schedule 1 substances? No potential medical benefit and a high potential for abuse. Show me one person that can abuse psychedelics. Because the crazy thing about psychedelics is that they are almost like intrinsically, they have a built-in non-abuse mechanism where if I take a gram of mushrooms today and I take a gram of mushrooms tomorrow, the gram of mushrooms that I took tomorrow will work half as efficiently as the ones I took yesterday, and then it becomes exponential. So at like 7 days in, I have to eat like 16 grams of mushrooms to feel something, to have an experience. That is not sustainable. You cannot abuse something like that. You can very easily abuse alcohol. You can very easily abuse marijuana, and I'm a big fan of that, and I don't like saying that, but it's possible. You can very easily abuse, cigarettes or caffeine, cocaine or methamphetamines or heroin, but you cannot in that way abuse psychedelics. So why are they illegal in that way? And to me it just shows again this want to limit humanity. Hope your minds are well today. Love you guys. Love you. I'd rather hang here. Gotta watch the chat. Bethany. I'm like getting there, friend. I'll, try and be a little bit minesweeper. I'm gonna say that word. Hey, Jacob, thank you for joining us, Brother Bear. So nice to have you here. Just want to say thank you. I love you. We've missed you. How are you doing? I'm frustrated for you. I feel bad about it, but I'm so grateful as well. Emotions. And that's what it's about, you know? Even if we feel badly, we still get to feel something. And that is what's beautiful. Confused and questioning whether I'm actually the crazy one or not. Bleh. You're not. Who needs tears? You're not, friend. Believe that at least. I believe that about you. Like either we're all crazy or none of us are. You know, and I actually said that to my mom yesterday after having this whole conversation. I even took her to my room. I showed her my, card pulling ceremony. I showed her my ritual of incense, water, air, and earth. I I showed her, the symbol on my bong. I showed her the symbol in the cards. I showed her what that symbol means. I really tried to explain to my mom what it is I'm doing in a way that I never have before. And I was like, maybe I'm a little bit crazy, and she was like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, maybe a little bit. She's like, no, not even a little bit. And weirdly enough, I needed that. Thank you, mama. Really, Farrar. I love her so much. So fucking broke, but abundantly wealthy. Gob Nugget, you're not the only one, brother Bay. I feel like that is also something we are in sync with at this point in our time in this space. And as the abundance grows in this space, I believe it's going to come to all of us. And I look forward to hearing you like, bruh, Melt, like, can you not, you know, take one of my houses? I have too many of them. And I'll be like, no, Gob, I also have too many houses. Let's give someone a house who doesn't have a house. Manifesting! Let's do it! If I have feelings that aren't amazing, I'm causing problems and grief for others, so I don't know what to feel, say, do with that. So, like, something that's coming up for me right now is wisdom that I got from our beloved Sensane, where he says no to suffering. It's almost like and this is the way that he explained in his book, like you're showing up to this market, and there is in this market a very convincing salesman. And he tells you that he's offering suffering. Here I have suffering, but he's very convincing. He'll use different people, he'll use different situations, he'll use circumstances to try and sell you this suffering. And all you have to do is say no. Be like, yeah, sure, I could lament about this thing that was said to me. I could lament about my current financial situation, my current emotional situation, my current relationship situation. Or I can decide not to. I can decide to breathe, and I can decide to be with these things, and I can decide to watch them pass in time. Whew, it's more difficult sometimes. Melt Mom, the legend. She's something. Like, she really is something. You're perfect, Melt. No rush on your end. Thank you so much. A pail is a bucket. Thank you. Freaking Wiseek. Has to be so smart. Can't say bucket. No. No. She's like, no. Going back to the idea that time is a vessel to hold experience, we can carry all of time in our buckets or none. It is up to us, dude. Thank you. Like that. I'm so happy that like, and I feel we came to that conclusion almost together, dude. It was like this. I was like, oh, reaching. I was like, maybe there's some information here somewhere. And then Isaac was like, how about this? And I was like, can you believe this? Can you believe this? Puppy is like, what the hell's going on? Hey, puppy. Long stockings. Yesterday, while peeking, I accidentally melted into everything for a second. When I was using my mama beads, it was awesome and also horrifying for me from the perspective of the ego. Still kind of trying to figure out how to explain how it felt. I'm still kind of processing. Yeah. Welcome, Aiden. Now you get where the Meltmore name comes from, dude. Like, I've had that melting experience more times than I'd like to admit. And every single time it's that, what the fuck's happening? And then I'm like, oh, I'm melting. Melt more. And you can literally, as you allow that, you can, it's almost like there's sounds, there is, waves coming out of you. There is this genuine intrinsic experience of like, oh, I am infinity. I am ceaseless. I can melt more and more and more, and there will still be more to be melted. And that's the crazy thing about the ego. As soon as you melt it away, as soon as that molten state of existence, that in your mind becomes a little bit more calm, it freaking grips back into your brain. It's like, okay, sick, I'm driving again. And then you get the opportunity to melt that little bugger away again. I love you, Aiden. I'm so happy to like hear you had that experience. It is gonna be a little bit jarring. It will continue to be jarring, but I'm sure you'll, melt through that as well. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for allowing me to share as well, Brother Bear. I cannot thank you enough. Mm. If I have a feeling, I have the same dad superpower of being able to hear and not process. People feel really ignored and unappreciated when I do it. I am really trying to change it, but it's a deep pattern. How does it happen, Ryan? Like that's where I'm coming from right now. Is like, how does that happen? How can I in this moment keep myself aware enough to not do that? Because I know I do the same thing and I don't know why. Is it is it because we practice so much awareness in other aspects of our life that when we are amongst family members, we feel a little bit less pressed, we feel a little bit more calm, we feel a little bit more gentle with ourselves, and we can actually be a little bit less aware because we're in a safe space, and then we don't pay attention properly. Like that's the only thing that I can think. Tell me if I'm resonating with what you're feeling with the bay. Tangible wealth. You have the right perspective, bro. Oh yes. There's a lot of people in this world who have more money than they know what to do with and are extremely unhappy. And I feel we might not have as much money as we could use right now, but we are happier than most people are because we're paying attention. We're trying to be happy. We're eliciting the positive experience, by sharing conversations, sharing perspective, sharing love for this world we find ourselves in. I got a job at the dispensary. Woo! 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 Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay. Just a little bit of thorns. Dude, congratulations, Toast Malos. You deserve it, brother man. You deserve it. Thank you so much for sharing it with us as well. Man, like my heart is actually racing right now. It might be the crazy jumping and screaming, but I'm so excited for you, dude. I'm so happy, man. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to celebrate with you. Whew. The day the day one of us is first is the day we need to buy a lotto ticket. I am never first to comment on Mel's stream. Hi Mel, I'm over here. I see you, Manny. Thank you for joining me here, my friend. That's not cool. God, there's a lot of things like that sometimes. My husband and I, my husband as well, and it's so frustrating not being heard. Seems we accidentally hit a bong, hit a big note. Paying attention to the moment, I feel, is the antidote to that not paying attention to your loved ones as well. Thank you, friends, for sharing that. Mm, oh, that is so deep, man. I'm so excited for you to mull it over in the next few days. It's gonna be a process. Goodness. And the thing is, as well, he's going to consolidate that understanding, and then he's going to be in this moment again. And he's going to be like, oh, yeah, nothing changed. And then he's going to find himself back in that moment. And he's going to be like, oh, shit, the fuck? Yeah, melt more. Dude. Oh man, I'm cracking myself up. I find that words will never describe those experiences. Like it is a concept that makes sense. Oh goodness, I just killed the bug on my nose. Sorry, dude. Like that was my instincts. Didn't mean to murder you. I like it is a concept that makes sense and you can visualize and understand it so clearly, and then trying to translate it to others, all meaning is lost. They're like, oh, you're crazy. Okay, cool. Cool. you're insane. Nice. Okay. What you forgot who you were and you were you just were? The fuck does that mean? Oh goodness. Your feelings are valid, and if it causes some sort of discomfort in others, then that is for them to sort out. You're allowed to feel what you feel and be. Beautifully said. I couldn't agree more. Free will equals people don't have to actually listen if they don't want to hear. Acceptance is hard, and non-expectation on B. Yo, acceptance and non-expectation. And I realized that again in this moment. Like, it's something we shared a little bit ago, this understanding that if you don't expect anything of anyone, and I know that sounds like, what, Melt? That sounds horrible, not expecting anything of anyone. In moderation, even moderation, in moderation, not expecting things of people frees you. Because now, upon you saying something to someone, if they don't even hear you, or they don't respond properly, or they don't respond at all, or they respond in a way that is counterintuitive to what you expected them to say, all of those things are expectations that you've now created in your mind. Like, you've created this archetype, this point at which you'll be happy, and then all of the rest of the triangle is just chaos, is just suffering. So by like not focusing on that little point of the triangle, you have all of this space in which the person's response can land, or the lack of response, wrong response, right response. So even if they land right in the middle, you can be like, oh, I see. Didn't expect anything else. Didn't expect anything now. Won't expect anything going into the future. Here you are. So you're completely right on B. That acceptance can be hard. I vibe with that. It's hard to listen as the leader sometimes. Yo, toast. Yes, he did. I'm tripping. For what it's worth, I'm trying to listen to you, friends. I'm really trying to. Did you really? Happy days, right? Right? And like, you're saying it so slow. So tiny. I didn't even know you could do tiny text. It's pretty cool, actually. This is true awareness. Melt, what did your mother have to say when you told her your thoughts about your father? She's been talking like the reason. Okay, now how do I say this? Uh, my mom has been aware of my dad's unawareness for longer than I can remember. Like, she's been aware of it even before they got married. But I guess she thought it would change. And if she didn't marry him, then I would not be. So, like, I unironically thanked her for suffering for me, you know? And it was a little bit of a joke, but kind of real. And it's this thing that it's the one thing that continues to hurt the relationship. The one thing is that unawareness. And that's the thing that bothers me so much. It's like I am faced with this problem, and me identifying with the masculine nature of inside of myself. I like to fix problems. I like to kind of take a problem, approach it from all different angles, and then try and find the fractal that's going to be the most indicative of completing that problem. But I've tried to approach this fractal of unawareness from every single possible perspective, at least so far. I guess I'm going to continue learning, and maybe I'll eventually gain enough perspective. But dude, it's such a difficult problem, Nancy. Thank you for asking, though, friend. So much love to you. Yeah, so freaking proud of you, excited for you. There we go, all the love. Aw, thank you guys. You deserve it, though. So much love to you, brother bear. Isaac, you blow my mind sometimes. With your comments. And man, I bet you do some beautiful hair. I imagine you must make beautiful highlights and ballages. Yes, ballages. You probably would know what ballages is, right, Isaac? What is ballages, dude? Please let us know. And that words will never describe. Oh yeah, absolutely. I love you so much, Isaac. Thank you for joining us, brother bear. Next few days. When someone accuses you of gaslighting them, when in reality you are the ones gaslighting you. I'm gaslighting myself. The fuck? What did you just say? I mean, oh no! Dr. Bot said that you were, big hugs, my friend. Thank you so much for the love. The straight snowflakes are some of the coolest, in my opinion. The blossoms of fractals and snowflakes are so fucking cool, right? So, like as Toasty mentions, there are straight snowflakes, like little cylinders of snowflakes. And then it has like little cavities on the inside, but it doesn't connect all the way through it. It just creates these little pockets on the inside of that cylinder as a snowflake. And that's just one of them. There's You should go and watch the video. Like genuinely, you'll love it. I mean, if you're fascinated by nature, that is straight art. Oh yes, like legitimately nature, Mother Nature. You like this. Just I look up and I see a work of art. Mother Nature is like, yeah, I'm gonna exploding fractal out of the ground. How about it? Thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you so much. Questioning my whole life. That's the way I'll be. Question, and then maybe there'll be an answer coming from that. What's wrong with me, Mama Jama? Thank you for the love again, Charles. We appreciate you being here with the Bay. It's so nice to have you. We've missed you genuinely. Mammy with the hello, my dear. All good here. I should be working, but slacking off a bit so I can hang out here. Hope all is well with you. Thank you, Mammy, for spending a moment with us today. I can't thank you enough. So many friends today. Beautiful, beautiful peoples. All you see is your reflection. That was my lowest. It's you that's the beautiful. Life is good, thank you. I'm glad you're taking the moment. You deserve it with all of those beautiful meals. Literally, like, Mammy is a super mom. Mm. Isaac with the that's been a complaint from family about my father. He'll be on his tablet sitting down when people come into the house. Family we haven't seen in ages, and he won't even notice enough to say hi. Oh yeah. You know what happens with like me and my dad? So it's not exactly the same, Isaac, but that's the little fractal that got elicited. Like when I'm trying to have a conversation with my dad about awareness, about perspective, about believing in yourself, like my dad, like this. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. There is this quote that my dad shows me, and he's like, and it writes, "The devil doesn't tell you believe in me. He tells you believe in yourself." My dad shows this to me like this is going to be the awakening that I need. And I'm like, yeah, devil sounds pretty rad. Believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect to realize anything? How can if you and he also likes to say, yeah, man will proclaim his own goodness. And in my opinion, if man doesn't proclaim his own goodness, then what? He proclaims his own horribleness. How is that going to serve us? If we don't try and be good, how could we be good? And he doesn't want to try and believe that he is that thing that is good. He is the thing that is eliciting this response. He has this narrative of somewhere out there is this judge waiting, watching him, being like, oh, look at this and look at that. And then at the end of his life, it's going to be reviewed and he's going to get judged. But because he believes in this entity is going to come and stand in for him. And he won't have to be judged by the judge because this entity has already been judged. Like, I believe in yourself, friend. Like, you are more capable than you can even imagine. And even if you believe in yourself completely, you still would have more capacity to believe in yourself. Like there is still more for you to believe in, even if you believe in yourself completely. Beautiful meals. I feel like I haven't seen some of you in ages. Oh, so I wanted to share. Sorry, Isaac. Little fractal got elicited again. So he shares this with me, right? Like the devil tells you to believe in yourself. And then I try and have these conversations with him about believing in yourself, about, living into your truth. And then while I'm trying to have this conversation with him, he's like picking up his phone and like going onto his WhatsApps. And I see this happening right in front of me. And I realize that as I'm trying to transfer this information, the very information that it is I'm trying to transfer, he's like doing the opposite of it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And this is like slowly bolts getting undone in my head. Okay, on B with a while there are some friends here reminder that if two or more people report a comment, it will be removed by the auto mod for review and is very useful backup to keep the chat from getting toxic. Thank you so much, Aunt P. You friends do more than I can ever even know. Like literally, like you friends do so much, and I can't even know about it. I know that you are doing Infinite. You know, you are literally eliciting the same infinity that I'm eliciting right now. And then on top of that, you're doing so much, like, thank you. I'm just overwhelmed with all of this information that my brain is trying to process. And I want to say thank you. Thank you so much, friends. I cannot wait till you get to experience snow melt. For me, the greatest part is how quiet and soft it gets when you just stop and listen. Ooh, I've actually heard about that. It becomes like a sound absorption layer, right? Because of the porous nature of the snow. I do like silence, Charles. I think I'll enjoy that as well. Ah, thank you. Yes, still cooking. Always someone in the house who is hungry. The cat is staring at me now. I think he wants food. Meow. Meow, 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 meow. Thank you, Mammy, for being such a loving mom. What you plan to cook for dinner? Have you decided? I'm curious as well. Donkey boop. I didn't realize this, but I'll definitely not shy of reporting gross things. Please don't. Like two reports, and they're out of here. Hot sauce is the best. It can be, friend. It can be, especially if you feel your meal is a little bit bland. Adding a little bit of hot sauce can really spice it up. Didn't. Yeah, give him 1-2 Jovan. Bop bop. He's like shooting him in the barrel. Imagine that a Fortnite meme. Okay, tangents. The snow is like a big blanket all over the outdoors and it softens all the sounds. I look forward to hearing it. It's shown to be extremely beneficial. Thank you. Thank you, friend. Doing well, thanks. Hope you are still cooking up those delicious looking dishes. Oh, yes, for sure. Like, Nami is a machine. Hey, Alexandre! Dude, it's been a while. How dare you? Oh, good to see you again. Life has been busy recently. I was completely okay, Brother Bay. You are here now. You didn't miss anything because we showed up for you as well. And here you are in this space, and that's what's important. Thank you so much for joining us. I check your videos in replay, dude. I love you. I'm just like pulling your leg a little bit. Relag, replay. Maybe this next one is gonna be the right one. So much love. I love balayage. Balayage. I know what ombre is, but I don't know what balayage is. Thank you, though, Brother Bear. Thank you, Alexandre, for laughing with me. Hey, Bonnie McMurray joining us as well. Hello to you, friend. Thank you for joining us. Either chicken, enchiladas, or seafood paella, whichever one. I don't cook tonight. I'll cook tomorrow. You're quite something, Mammy. Goodness. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get a wife one day that is as, capable as you are. Good sound, so good. Again, hello. It's not that big. I feel, big is but a perspective thing, right? Like if I'm half the size of an atom, then an atom is twice my size, and I will be like, yes, atom is big. And then if I'm the size of the atom, I'll be like, yeah, still pretty big. And then if I could look at the atom and hold it in my hand, hmm. I was like imagining, can I hold on to an atom? Like I was seeing this atom floating in space, and all of the electrons kind of like creating these waves around it. And then upon trying to put my hand in and grab the proton, all of the flesh just gets like ripped off of my hand. Mm. Maybe I don't want to hold on to an atom. Thank you though, Chip. A Reddit friend got engaged today, and my first message to her after saying congrats was, I can't wait to see your wedding menu. My brain is one setting food. Mammy, like you're playing a beautiful role, in your kids' life, in your husband's life, you get to play a role that nobody else can play. You get to be something that nobody else can be. And that will never be able to be taken away from you because it's going to be something that will stay with your kids forever. Like every single time they think about their mom, they think about all of the love that she put forward and feeding them and taking care of them and cooking delicious meals. Thank you for that. Mammy, you're freaking amazing. Paella, damn, you're a boss. She like genuinely. You should see some of you should see how beautiful her meals are as well. Not only do they look delicious, but they look beautiful. 'Twas what she proclaimed. Man, I like that one better. Not that's what she said. 'Twas what she proclaimed. I'll use that one actually. I'd appreciate it, Aunt B. I'll have to Google it. Me too, actually. I also don't know what paella is. I love this feature. It was a lifesaver on Gob's stream yesterday. Thank you for sharing that love as well. I'm curious now about which friend got married or got engaged. No, Gob got it. Oh, I think so as well, Toast. I will. Maybe I didn't get it. So like another layer of gaslighting. I didn't get that he got it, and I was trying to let him get it. But then upon trying to let him get it, I was the one not having it. Oh, thank you. A rice dish I love. Paella and Thai fried rice, but I don't have the patience for risotto. It has to boil for longer. I remember cooking risotto in high school. Who was Randy? I think we all can be a little bit Randy. Like Randy to me, the first fractal gets elicited is a character from Trailer Park Boys. Arguably the weirdest character from Trailer Park Boys. Yeah, nope, he's definitely the weirdest, and I love him too. Minaro boy, thank you for joining us, dude. Saying here for some support again, still dealing with feeling like a zombie due to a painful heartbreak. And friend, here you are, still present, still in this moment, still you. Thank you for joining us again, Minaro. It's nice to have you here. Randy is a given name, popular in the United States and Canada. It is primarily a masculine name. Hmm. Interesting choice for it to say masculine instead of men's name. Everyone else would say, "Oh, show us your ring. Your dress will be fab." Me, show me the menu. Let me see what foods you're gonna offer. See how hard I have to judge you. Oh, you're gonna feed them that? Okay. All right. What is that about? No, nothing. Oh, Thank you for that, Mammy. I'm cracking up. Pushes past her hand. Risotto is definitely a practice in patience. It has to boil for long. At least that's the only fractal that's getting elicited from that. I don't even really enjoy it. Like the texture of it is a little bit too rugged for me. Maybe if you whisper sweet nothings and take me to dinner first. Toasting will be very randy. Just do it. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Bonnie. That was one of my favorite things to decide when planning the wedding and the flowers. Dude, what flowers did I like at my wedding? Instantly purple flowers pop into my head. I don't know how many purple flowers there are naturally though. Like I have one flower that's popping in my head that is like this tri flower, but it's white and it has these little purple stripes in the middle of it. But I don't know what it's called, and I'm pretty sure that it's not easily cultivated. The constant stirring and the grateful adding of stock. The gradual adding of stock out to make the risotto. Yeah, that sounds a little bit ass. Kindred spirits, especially the constant stirring thing. Food is important, so are the flowers. Oh, absolutely. I worship the temple of Satan. It's pretty cool. I mean, do you need to? You know, like at least I feel like one of the biggest things with worshiping something outside of yourself is that you are actively giving your power away. You know, instead of worshiping your loved ones, you know, and worshiping sounds like a little bit of a yikes word, but I'm going to continue using it. You know, worshiping your loved ones, worshiping your environment, worshiping the food that you eat. I feel like that is where the true spiritual practice comes in, where if you're worshiping something outside of yourself, you're giving your power away, friend. You know, like you get to do you though. I hope that it serves you, friend. Like, do let us know more. I'm very curious. I know you do, you rascal. That's freaking awesome, Abby. If only I made it once for that very reason. It came out so yummy. My patience can use some practice these days. Might be a sign. Who needs tears? I wish I feel I'm good with patience, but I would like some more motivation. Like yeah, you know, I'm gonna stay with it. I thought about hors d'oeuvres. Yes, of course. Hors d'oeuvres, but ended up with a full Italian meal. It sounds wonderful. Thank you, Aunt B, for even like sharing the imagery. It's like you guys are talking about something completely different from what Melt is streaming. That is usually how it is, oh Bonnie McMurray. Like they're like, oh, Melt has an agenda, huh? Fucking, let's throw a bunch of spanners in his gearbox. Yeah, makes a bunch of sounds. It's perfect, though, Bunny. This is the way we co-create, dude. This is why we have such unique and personalized stream. Like every single stream is a whole creation, a whole unit of its own. I pledge here and now that I will order risotto next time I go out to eat, just for the experience, Mammy. So you can remember again. Can you bring me breakfast? Me too, please. Yes, I toasty. A good night's sleep is a game changer. I wake up feeling like I could conquer the world or cook a risotto. That's beautiful. Your brain set on food. I'm listening though. Oh, I'm sorry. This is trickery caused doing intermittent fasting. So no food until 12 noon. That's okay. I am doing the same thing, interestingly enough, Mammy. I'm doing the same thing, but for me it's the opposite time around. Like I stop eating at 12 noon. I had some leftovers today, and I feel like there's some part of myself that feels very validated with eating leftovers because I'm like, yes, food will not go to waste. I am doing a duty. I'm playing my role. I love Mel's mama. I can, tell you how much I love her as well. Mama! Mama! She's not an earshot. Otherwise, I would have told her that you love her as well. Was your mom appreciative of that? That sounds so lovely. True expression. She really was, Toast. Like, we got to have a nice hug, got to tell one another we love one another. It was a genuinely awesome experience. I just walked in the middle of Melt saying something about gaslighting and drugs, with the convo about yummy food, so I thought my stream was wonky. Oh, buddy McMurray. It's like, is Melt in the future? Is it in the past? Or is he in this now? Why is everybody else not in the same now that Melt is fighting himself? I love that you opened up and shared with your mom like you haven't before. It must have felt so good, Melty. So happy she acknowledged you too. It felt amazing. It felt a little bit weird because, I do so many things with intention that I wouldn't be offended if someone thought I was crazy. Like I do so absurd things sometimes. Like I tell my water I love it before I drink it. This bottle of water I got told like 5 times that I love it. I I go through like these little rituals. I pull cards and I stack crystal grids on them. I save my Garrix that I smoke joints with. I haven't smoked a joint in almost a week and a half now. And then I save those little Garrix and I stick them to the back of my painting, like the little wooden frame of my painting, attaching that understanding. And I write little intentions down on my joint little papers as well. So there's these messages, layers and layers and layers and layers. And it might all be for nothing, it might all be complete nonsense, but it creates more significance in my life. And when someone doesn't do stuff like that, it's strange. It's a little bit weird, and it's very awkward sometimes sharing it as well. I feel like I can hear a gentle voice in that expression. I love my family so much. You friends, as my family, I love you so much. I feel like I'm not giving enough sometimes, and I know that I'm trying to give as much as I possibly can, but it never feels like it's ever enough. And I'm trying to work on that myself as well. Balayage is a technique. It is the French word for sweeping. It's a hand painting by sweeping color onto the hair. Oh, to give it a natural feel. Okay, so it has like streaking almost. So glad you watched Trailer Park Boys, dudes. Isaac, the more we have these conversations, the more we'll realize we're basically the same person. The fact that we both watched Trailer Park Boys, the Meat Canyon thing, I feel is like one of the craziest synchronicities, where I share like a little bit of an understanding about that, and you're like, yeah, I feel that, and I'm like, what the fuck? And especially since we identify with our spiritual natures, so watching stuff like that can be almost in contrast and opposition to the way we want to live and the things we share with one another as individuals. And I believe it's just us being willing to embrace the full breadth, of life, all both sides of the infinity, if you will. So thank you, dude. I love you so much, man. It's so cool to have these moments, these and technically that moment of like being in that space, watching Ricky's dumbass get up to nonsense, and it's just like feeling into that space, like literally peering into a different universe. So much love to you. Give me the puppy. No, dude. Like you're a Satan worshiper. I can't trust you with my puppy. Like that sounds so hectic. I'm joking. Only a little bit joking. Goodness, that was probably confusing. I'm just a spaz. No, you're not on B. You are perfect. Just passing over food. Yay for toasty! Yay for toasty! I'm still thinking of food. If I have food photos from my wedding on B, please share in the throwback channel on the Discord. Thank you for that encouragement. You were the first to know. Before anyone, you messaged me right when they called. Hmm. Oh, on B was the first to know. That's amazing, dude. Thank you for sharing that as well, Toast. Thank you for allowing us to know, Brother Bear. I hope it's a beautiful experience. I was thinking about that anniversary month will surface throwback pictures. Please, Aunt P. My puppy hands off. My puppy hands off. There we go, just for that. I love that. Hey, Kira Burb is joining us as well. Thank you for joining us, beloved friend. It's so nice to have you in the space. We're summoning a Nelson. Maybe Nelson is here right now. Magicking Nelson. What Nelson? Goodness, Nelson like actually just influenced my brain. Like I wanted to, manifest like abundance for Nelson, and then Nelson's vulgar nature, got influenced or whatever, and I was like, yes, manifesting 2 more inches for Nelson. Sorry. Yes, channeling the Nelson. Love you, brother Bear. I don't know where you are in the world right now, but I know you're here, and I'm sending you love in this moment. Nelson works at a dispensary. That's cool. He does. That's pretty crazy, actually. I didn't know that, but it makes kind of perfect sense. Thank you for the reminder. Greetings on the other side. To it's hard to be a leader as the listener too. It's necessary though, Jovan. I feel if I'm ever to be a leader, I want to make listening one of my priorities. Burbies. So many burbies. Dang it. Gotta go and start dinner prep. I'll listen back to this later. Take care, Melt and Pippi. Take care, Mammy. Thank you for joining us, beloved friend. Enjoy dinner, Mammy. Hope you and the fam have a restful evening. You are loved. So much love. That bird out there going like laughing at us. You can take care. Don't listen to that silly tarot bot. Catch up with you later. Yeah, tarot, when they tell you that this is how it is and this is what's going to happen in your life, instantly I have resistance to stuff like that. That's why, the only cards that I would ever have, and I have like one deck of cards right now. I would like more decks, and I plan on getting myself more decks when I can afford to. But like having these cards, they should be at most perspective, like it's noise, and then you get to take from that noise meaning. It should never be this is the meaning, because then I feel you're basically losing the beauty of that experience of asking the universe questions. Speaking of Burbies, we have Kira Burb. Lies! But you make the best for sure. Bye and love you all. Love you, Nancy. Thank you for joining us, friend. Have an amazing day at work. Galablonza joining us here. I don't think a desire to solve problems is tied to any particular sort of masculine or feminine affinity. It's something shared across humanity. Okay, so Gala Blanza, it's not me trying to separate. I completely identify the Meltmore name. A part of that understanding is the masculine and the feminine, right? So I realize fully that I have both. The reason I dress the way I do and the reason I have long hair is because there's part of my femininity that I'd like to embrace as well. But the feminine side of me is just receptive, is just loving, is just accepting, is just there. It's like the warm hug of a mom, right? Where the masculine side of me is the alert, hyper focused, task oriented. You can say left brain, right brain as well. But that part of me wants to solve problems, where the feminine part of me just accepts accepts all. So It is that perspective that I mention when I say the masculine side of me wants to solve problems. Thank you though, Galo. I appreciate you, friend. Thank you for the wholesome. The thing goes skra. I appreciate you for joining us. Have a blessed day. Banza! So much love to you, dude. Hey, we have Miss Mouse saying, "Good morning, young man. Uncle Becky and Aunt B sucked me in here, and here you are. Great minds and energies attract." Thank you. Thank you, friend. Thank you for finding yourself here. Thank you for joining us. I feel that completely. I actually got to have a conversation about that with a friend today, so it's very synchronous you say that. Like he was asking me about what I said on a stream about coming to Pretoria, and he was like, "What's that about?" And I was like, "Oh, a friend of mine wants me to come and stay with him again for a while because he misses me." And he was like, "Oh, do I know this friend?" And I send him, a selfie that I took with Christian, and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure you don't, but this is what he looks like." And he's like, "Oh, is he your brother?" And I send that meme of like, "Yes, but actually no." And I say to him, "He's a brother by choice. I've chosen, yes, I've chosen to make him a brother." And, now he is. And he was like, "Oh, you just look very similar." And I mentioned to him that, where did it start? Basically, the fact that we are, and because we are similar, there is weight in that similarity. And because there is weight in that similarity, weight can translate to mass. Anything with mass has gravity, anything with gravity attracts. Anything that attracts can allow a reunification. And me being allowed to meet Christian, being allowed to meet every single one of you, friend. Like I'm thinking about Isaac right now as well, Jovan and Toasty and Aunt B and Uncle Becky. Like seeing parts of ourselves in the outside world, and creating a space, creating a certain energy that attracts us into that space. Thank you for finding yourself here, friend. It's so nice to have you. Collective breath for Aunt B. Let us send her some energy. I see a tornado. That is pretty powerful. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing that collective breath with us, friend. Let us send her some energies. Aunt B, I hope you don't explode. You might melt into a pile of goo, but we'll send you enough energy to reassemble as well. I don't know, it's one of my favorite sounds, not a real one. Actual pew pew. Stop! I almost spat my water out. Gala, sending love as well. The bird. Do you eat shrooms? Do you meditate? I do meditate. I do occasionally eat shrooms. The last time I ate shrooms was about a month ago now. Oh goodness, more now. A little bit more than a month ago, and then it was like 2 months ago, and then it was on New Year's, and then it was on the 11th of no, yes, the 11th of December. Then it was the 28th of November, and then the 1st of November were my most recent psychedelic experiences. But right now, no, and probably for a while, no. Again, I have microdosing capsules that I made for myself. That's like 0.25 grams, so a quarter of a gram. I don't know how to translate that into American units, but not enough for me to feel it. Basically, it's like literal subpar doses. So, and I do meditate every single day. Miss, at least I try to meditate every single day. Stole this from Emma. 'Twas what she proclaimed. Thank you, Andy. I love it so much. Piri piri sa, piri piri, piri piri piri. Sauce. Been streaming with meditations the past few days. I have been, and I have that meditation moment. Goodness, Nelson actually got to hear my comment. I hope he did. That makes me so happy. So, like, I have been streaming my meditation streams. I have been streaming my meditation streams. I've been streaming my meditations for the last 2 days, for the last 3 days, because I was basically going onto Reddit while I was making myself my coffee and setting up for my meditation. And I was like tuning into Reddit, and like one of the people that was live was Dad Flaps, his name is. Yeah, Dad Flaps. And I was like, "Hey, Flapper of Dads." And he's like, "Hey, Meltmore, are you meditating?" Like him just like nudging me a little bit. I'm like, I am, in fact, setting up to meditate. And he's like, "You're going to stream it?" And I was like, "Well, since you want me to, since you asked for it, maybe I will." And then we touched 570,000 people in that meditation stream and was like, oh, okay. No preparation, no effort, and then life is like, yes, here. Here, information. How about it? I was like, "Oh, yes, okay, thank you." He's been streaming. Thank you again on the ears were burning. Look at you, Curly Wonder. Nelson, we love and appreciate you, dude. Thank you for joining us. Your gentle lovingness has such a beautiful presence. You melt me. Oh, I love that, Jovan. Thank you for sharing that love. All your sexy, Sexican natives. We're not Africans. We're Sexicans. I like that. I love this, both of you dearly. Arf, arf. How is this lad, man? So much love is being shared. Apply a liberal. Oh goodness, man, bruh. They freaking zoinked my stream. Absolutely unacceptable. I'm going to read the comments, but I don't think I'm going to start it up again. So it's going to be just me, you, and you. If we're only three in this space right now, it's probably Shannon and Isaac, right? Oh, wait a second, I missed some. Julian carrying his drink everywhere. Is me with the joint. Where is he? Where is he? When is he? Oh, he's got his joint. He's chill. I love that dude. Interestingly enough, I had that same feeling. Watching Julian. Julian was like, I think either Julian or Bubbles were the ones that I resonated the most with. Yeah, maybe a little bit of Leahy. Randers. Okay, we're gonna get too distracted. Let's get back to that post. Mm. Yeah, Toast knows that it bonked. Imaginary pants. This is the way. No, please. So I can only open it on the top of the screen. Goodness. There we go. How's it, lad? And we get this. Hola, amigos. I love you, Nelson. I know you're not here, dude, but sending you good vibes. It's flammable at higher temperatures. Not bad. Delicious. Wishing to be the friction in your jeans. The fuck? Kyle, was such a cool comment. I'm wishing to be the friction. The fiction? I'm guessing it should be friction. The friction in your jeans. I've always got both Reddit and YouTube pulled up. That way, you never have an interruption. Thank you, Jovan, for being in this moment with us. It's so nice to have you here. I'll do what I want. I told them, ditto dear, pronouncing devs. Oh, no friction in the jeans, sir. The attitude, this is the way. How are you? Did you mean friction, good sir? Maybe the imaginary pants. Trouser else strike again. You look so much like my brother. I'm disturbed. Also, might take a screenshot and send it to the fam. Another person with the I look like a brother. I am your brother. I am your brother. Just not your biological one. Yeah. Sending love to a stranger. I don't know you, Mrs. Stranger, I think, but sending you love nonetheless. Mm. I love you, water. I love you, air. I love you, fire. I love you, earth. Thank you for that, Aunt B. So beautiful. I could go for some Biscoff cookies right now. Intention means everything that it does. I had to stop. They're just not a safe environment for me anymore. Biscoff cookies. Dude, anything that you cannot stop, I feel the exact same. I'm melting! Melting! Arion Gray, you are loved and dearly missed. Thank you for melting with me. I believe this as well. My condolences. I meant to ask on Sunday and slip timing. Lord, what? Godspeed, sweet prince. Farewell. I may dip my toes in again. Fire melt. Did you ever receive Sinsane's book? Yes, I did. On B. I don't know if you're probably not here, but I've read Sinsane's book as well. I actually opened it on stream. Nelson, hope that 2 inches works out for you. I banned you from Twitch for your birthday. Goodness. You're an inspiration. Mm. I've been promoted from grower to show. Do a headstand. Maybe someday Legitimate Pickle. Oh, we have a birthday today. Where she be? Hello, Peppy. Hello, Shamash Shamash. Hello. No, you're breathtaking. Oh, Shamash. Sup, you beautiful soul. Crayon is joining us as well. Yasi. Bonk. There we go. All of the comments have been read. And yeah, the upvote number was 44 as soon as I upvoted it myself. Thank you. What a stream. Hmm? Like I feel it kind of started off with a little bit of seriousness, like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about time, and time doesn't exist really. And then it kind of divulged into food and gaslighting, which is beautiful, so perfect. Thank you for joining me, beloved friend. Probably just you, Javan, right now, or I see we just had another friend join. I love you. I really appreciate the energy today. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for allowing yourself this moment. And that's the trippy thing for me at this point as well, is that I'm showing up for you, friends. And this energy will now, at least if all goes the way that I plan for it to go, this energy will be in this moment ceaselessly. At least in this moment, right? In this time frame, and then you get to share this with yourself if you want to. If you need this energy, you get to show up for it. And even if you don't show up for it, just by thinking about it, you're eliciting that response. Like genuinely. Like just by thinking, Melt is probably streaming right now. Here you are. Here you are in this moment. You don't have to be here in physicality. You don't have to have the pixels shining into your eyeballs. You don't have to hear my words because we're always just here. And we're showing up for that. We're showing up for the love that is just here. Thank you, friends, for showing up for love today. It means more than I can say, especially right now. Shannon, we love and appreciate you. You matter. You matter. You have a role. You have a place. You are so appreciated and valued. Thank you for joining us again today. I look forward to see you friends again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.